Excuse me, one quick question that we were confused a little bit in our group. We were having another session this night. I thought this was the last session. Is that right?
No, there's another one at 9 o'clock your time.
Oh, perfect. Oh, I'm glad to hear.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Great.
Yeah, good. Okay. Well, it is good when I can see you all and you're kind of moving around and not just kind of frozen in sort of some position or other. Yay, yes. Thanks, Dharmashri. Okay. How are we doing, Patrick? Is everyone in?
Yeah, that's everyone back from their discussion groups, yeah.
Thank you.
No worries.
Okay, so welcome to day 6, session 3. Maitri Gosha was just checking. Some people had wondered whether this was the last session, and it's not. There is a session 4 today, which is the final session. Yeah. Good. So today we've been going through some of the guidelines. So section 7, and going through quite fast because I want to do half of them on this retreat and the other half in March. So we've done 5, I think. 1, 2, 3, and yeah, we did up to 43, and we put off training in the 3 hard disciplines till later, but you can't put these things off indefinitely. So here it comes. So number 44, train in 3 hard disciplines. So this is let's put is prevent delusions or negative states, calling in that arising. When they do arise, do something about them. And finally, put an end to them. And all those 3 are hard. They're hard to do. They're hard to do. Breaking up with negative states is hard to do. Yeah. So it's hard to recognize them in the first place. Obviously, the earlier we catch them, the better, the easier it is. We have a little bit of a garden where we live, and I leave most of the creative stuff to Vijayamala, but I do some bits and pieces, including some weeding. And when you catch the weeds early, you can just lift them out. But if you don't catch them early, they put down roots, and then you have to get a trowel and really dig to get them out. Yeah. So it's the same with our minds. Yeah. So the earlier we can catch a delusion, a negative emotion, the better. But that's not easy. It takes a lot of awareness and mindfulness. And then it's hard to do something about it. Yeah, so either to apply a remedy or to really look into its nature, to really see through it. Because often we're attached to these unhelpful emotions and ways of seeing things. Yeah. So we sort of we don't quite get around to applying the remedy. We apply the remedy, but a bit half-heartedly. Yeah, we're often not that integrated. So part of us believes that selfing really is suffering and that we should really do something about it. But there are unintegrated parts of us that think that, well, actually, selfing can be a good idea under certain circumstances. So yeah, it can be hard to apply the remedy because we're not fully behind that real sense that selfing is suffering and living with a really open heart is really, really fulfilling. The more we reflect on that, and the more we look at that in our experience, and the more we're convinced we are of that, the easier it is to apply the remedy, and the easier the whole Dharma goes. It's the fact that we're still so divided against ourselves that we're still like a little bit of a crowd with holding different opinions about how to be happy. That's the issue. Yeah. So we need to just keep doing that work of thinking, well, is that right? Is it right that selfing does lead to suffering? Is it right that being at the service of life would really be more satisfying than being at the service of myself? And just keep looking at our experience and learning from other people's experience until we're really convinced. Yeah. And then, from then on, things get much, much easier. So it's hard to notice the negative emotion. It's hard to apply the remedy. And it's hard to put an end to that delusion or that negative emotion. It's hard to put an end to it in the short term. So we may feel like there's something that would be really good to do this evening, but something in us just feels like, well, no, maybe we'll just, sort of take it easy and look up a few things on the net and watch a few things. And we think, no, actually, it would be really good to do those things. So we do, but often there's this sort of after echo of the desire to just do whatever it was that wasn't so helpful. It sort of keeps coming back. Little images sort of keep coming to mind, and we have to kind of catch those and sort of let those go. Or maybe we have an argument with somebody. We have an argument with somebody we're close to, and we get to the end of it, and we both decide, no, that was silly, and we make it up, and it's all fine now. But no, we're in harmony. But like 2 hours later, there's this little voice which goes, but I was right. All those little things, we kind of catch them. So we need to sort of follow through where it feels like we've put an end to something temporarily, and catch the after echoes of it, catch those, and really see it through. So there's that level of it, and then there's a more long-term level of things, where we've there's some delusion, there's some negative emotion, and we've seen through it. We've applied a remedy of some kind, say, which has worked. That's all good. But then often the sort of seeds of it are still there. That tendency which we managed to see through or overcome in this situation, there's still that tendency there in our mind. So following the kind of the spirit of the mind training of turning towards difficulties, it's almost like we keep on working even when it seems like something has gone, to make sure we've really uprooted it, that we've really seen through it. It's like people working with insight, they have a seeing into no self and think, oh, great, I've seen into no self. Unless it's a really sort of powerful seeing into no self, we need to keep looking. We need to keep seeing, oh no, look, there really isn't anyone behind all this. Again and again and again, until it's just so obvious that we really don't need to look anymore. Or with some negative tendency, we manage to not go along with it. We sort of defeat it for the time being. but then we sort of follow it and make sure that it doesn't regroup and kind of come back later. Yeah, in meditation, we can really look at that tendency. Yeah, it's almost like we call it up. We had a meditation where we were doing this a bit, where you can call up a negative tendency and you really look into it. Yeah, and you really see, no, that really is an unsatisfactory way to be. And we see how it kind of tends to kind of catch us, and we really get to know it so that it really cannot sort of catch us in the future. Yeah? We really go that far. Yeah? Because the tendency is that, you know, maybe we're under some stress and we produce, yeah, unskillful, unhelpful volitions, and we do something about it, and then the conditions change and they're better, and we just tend to think, phew, you know, I'm in a better state now, and I'm not feeling how I was before, and we just leave it at that. But if the potential's still there for us to fall back into those behaviors, those ways of our mind working when the conditions get less favorable again, then it's still in terms of the three levels of dukkha, there's viparinama dukkha, there's the dukkha of change, where, okay, things are all right at the moment, but when things change, they won't be again. So we want to be really thoroughgoing in working with our unhelpful tendencies. Yeah. So, yes, hopefully that's clear enough. So, somebody's asking, is this teaching close to the four right efforts? In some ways it is. It's really about the efforts of, it's particularly emphasizing the efforts of doing away with unskillful mental states that have arisen and preventing them arising in the future. Yeah. In a way, that's what I've been talking about in this, being really thoroughgoing and making sure that things, as far as we can, we've really uprooted that tendency in ourselves. Okay, that's enough of that one. Yeah, let's do 45 quickly. Concern yourself with the three principal causes. So what are these three principal causes? So the first one is relying on your spiritual friend. In the tradition, it would be rely on your lama. There's second one is apply the Dharma. It says with a flexible mind, often in the commentaries. And thirdly, provide yourself with conducive conditions. And those conducive conditions may change as time goes on, as our practice deepens and gets stronger. Actually, more difficult conditions may be more conducive to start with. We really need to give ourselves lots of, as it were, protection. But as time goes on, yeah, what's conducive? Maybe going and starting a Dharma center somewhere that's not so easy. So these are the three principal causes or conditions, something like that, prerequisites. So we need to rely on the spiritual friends for teaching, for inspiration, for confidence, yeah, sort of to kind of witness our practice so that we feel, yes, we really are on the right track. We need to apply the Dharma flexibly. Very, very often we take Dharma, but we apply it in a rather rigid way, always trying to do it the same way, just even though the conditions, external and internal, are changing. So we need to really feel the underlying kind of spirit or intention of the Dharma, rather than just following particular form all the time, which may work some of the time, but not all of the time. So we want a flexible approach. And yes, we give ourselves whatever's really helpful in conditions, including good contact with Sangha, good contact with just setting up the conditions which will enable the practice to flow. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I won't try and squeeze anything in. So let's do some meditation, and then in session 4, we'll do a few more of the guidelines. So as usual, meditation, finding a point of freedom. An opportunity to be with our experience, or for that just to be our experience. Feeling the earth beneath us. Letting the body open. The body as a field of kindly awareness. With the feelings, sensations, movements of energy. Again, with this question, who are we practicing with? Where of all of us all connected, all with our heart connection, as Dharma practitioners, as members of the order, Joining forces in this meditation, coming together. We can draw on the support of all the practitioners of wisdom and compassion, practitioners of mind training, a whole tradition inspired by the Buddha. Invoking the refuge into our heart center, and the process of giving and receiving starts with ourselves. And widening out to include our whole retreat community. Now, with the support of one another and of all practitioners of mind training, wisdom and compassion, start widening out more to particular people and situations. And particularly where there's difficulty, people struggling with health issues, people feeling isolated, people feeling frustrated, perhaps with lockdown, can't do the things that usually bring them satisfaction and happiness, can't see those close to them, people anxious about being ill, getting ill, people concerned about their work, their finances, whatever it is. We bring the refuge in our heart. The refuge in our heart comes in relation to all that. And there's the same process of receiving and giving. Giving whatever's needed, whatever helps. Whatever relieves suffering, whatever qualities are needed. Seeing, feeling, sensing the practice having an effect. The suffering being relieved and released. The causes of suffering. All that tension. All that belief. I'm here, and if I try hard enough, I'll get what I want and I can hold it. An unconscious sense that it won't change. All that. Being liberated, being freed. Now just sitting. And transferring the merits. Okay, so that's it. One more session to go. Hope to see you there. If you can't make it live, then it's been very good to see you, and maybe see one another again before too long, and go really well. But yeah, hope to see a lot of you in a few hours' time.
Thank you, Vessantara.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Vessantara.
Thank you, Vessantara.
Good.